Tuesday, August 4th, it's noon in the Ukrainian capital. This is our time, and I'll tell you the main news at this hour. I'm Sakanai Mirzev. Russian forces have launched a missile strike on the outskirts of Odesa. According to the regional military administration, there was a hit on civilian infrastructure. All emergency services are working at the scene. Information about casualties and the consequences of the attack is being clarified. 3 people were killed, including 2 children. Another 4 people were injured as a result of Russian army attacks on Sumy. The enemy struck the private sector and infrastructure facilities with guided aerial bombs. Several private homes were destroyed and fires broke out. During emergency rescue operations, Russian forces launched repeated strikes on the rescuers. According to the State Emergency Service of Ukraine, no personnel were injured. As a result of one of the attacks, special equipment was damaged.
Today, around 2 o'clock in the morning, the enemy struck our community with guided aerial bombs. This night claimed the lives of 3 people. They were 2 children, a 5-year-old girl and a 10-year-old girl, as well as an elderly woman. Rescuers recovered the bodies of the children from under the rubble of the destroyed house. 4 more people sought medical help due to acute stress reactions.
Last night, Russian attack drones targeted Mykolaiv. As a result of the shelling, an 89-year-old woman was killed and 7 more people were injured. According to the regional administration, among the injured are 2 girls, aged 2 and 12. Both were hospitalized. The attack completely destroyed 2 private houses and damaged 7 more private homes and 3 apartment buildings, where the blast wave shattered the windows. Chernihiv region also came under attack from Russian army's rocket drones. Over the past day, the enemy attacked Chernihiv, Pryluki, and Novgorod-Siversky. Businesses, logistics companies, and critical infrastructure were targeted. In the regional center, strikes hit industrial areas, a warehouse and a workshop caught fire, and shrapnel damaged a logistics company. As a result, 4 people were injured. In Pryluki, the Russian army struck warehouses with agricultural equipment as well as a logistics company, destroying about a dozen vehicles and cargo trailers. In Novgorod-Siversky, a civilian was injured. In Dnipro, rescuers managed to contain a large fire at food warehouses. The night before, they were attacked by a strike drone from the Russian army. The aftermath is still being dealt with. According to the emergency services, there are no casualties or fatalities. A cynical safari. Russian troops have essentially started hunting civilians in Kherson. The National Police of Ukraine released footage showing the occupiers trying to chase down a man with an FPV drone. Early in the morning, in the central district of the city, a Russian army drone pursued a 52-year-old man who was unloading goods from his car. The vendor tried to evade the drone, but the UAV deliberately pursued him and then went in for the strike. Fortunately, the man survived. He was diagnosed with blast trauma, shrapnel wounds, and a concussion. The aftermath of this attack was shown by the regional military administration. Cars that happened to be near the drone strike site were damaged. This barbaric Russian war crime in Kherson demands international condemnation and justice. However, thousands of similar crimes remain unnoticed by the public. Thus, Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, Andriy Sybiga, commented on the video in which Russian soldiers use an FPV drone with explosives to chase a civilian. According to the acting minister, this is a deliberate, systematic strategy by Russia. They know exactly what they're doing, Sybiga emphasized.
This horrifying video proves that Russian barbarians will try to repeat their genocidal atrocities like those that happened in Bucha wherever they can. To establish lasting peace, we need comprehensive justice for such terrible crimes, a strong set of defense and deterrence measures for Ukraine, and reliable, guaranteed security for our people. Andriy Sybiga, Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, on social network X.
Last night, Russia struck Ukraine with an Iskander and ballistic missile and also launched 136 attack drones. The Russian occupiers attacked simultaneously from several directions, according to the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The attack was repelled by aviation, anti-aircraft missile troops, electronic warfare units against drone systems, and mobile fire groups of Ukraine's defense forces. According to preliminary data, air defense shot down or suppressed 117 Russian drones. 226 combat engagements were recorded on the front line in the past day. This was reported by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The most intense situation is on the Kostiantynivka direction. There, Ukrainian defenders repelled 35 Russian assaults. On the Sloviansk section of the front, they fought off 22 attacks, and the same number on the Pokrovsk direction. On the Hulia-Pol bridgehead, defenders stopped 13 enemy attempts to break through Ukrainian lines, and another 9 on the Lyman direction. The most difficult situation right now is in the south of Donetsk region, particularly in the Krematorsk-Sloviansk direction. This was stated on Freedom TV by Pavlo Likichuk, head of military security programs at the Center for Global Studies, Strategy 21. According to him, Russian forces are increasing pressure from the direction of Pokrovsk and Kostiantynivka, trying to advance toward Dobropilia. At the same time, the military expert noted that despite the intense attacks, the enemy has not yet achieved its objectives. Particularly heavy fighting continues in Kostiantynivka. The situation in the city is extremely difficult. The front line is constantly shifting.
The enemy controls 90% of Kostiantynivka, while the defense forces are present in 70% of the city's territory. So if anyone says that the Russians have captured Kostiantynivka or that our defense forces fully control Kostiantynivka, that's not entirely accurate. In fact, what's happening in the city is, well, as has been compared before, like a vinaigrette. Positions of both the defense forces and the occupying forces are all mixed together. There is no rear, no flanks, no front line. So the fighting is happening at the tactical level. It's very complicated and, well, very important.
Russia has changed its tactics for strikes, focusing on water supply and sewage facilities. This was stated by Energy Minister Denis S. Shmyhal in an interview with Politico. According to him, the destruction of water supply systems has become one of the main targets of Russian attacks. At the same time, Kyiv is counting on strikes against Russian oil refineries and increased sanctions pressure to force Moscow to end the war as early as this fall. S.H. Myhal noted that the confrontation now resembles the final rounds of a match, where each side expects the other to be the first to break.
Putin wants to cripple our energy system, undermine the economy, and disrupt weapons production. He also hopes that this winter, our society will break from exhaustion and put pressure on the leadership to sign a capitulation. Right now, Russia's goal is to destroy our water supplies. Last winter, they attacked the power grid and heating, but during blackouts, it was possible to survive if there was gas and water. It's hard to survive more than 3 days without water and sewage. We fully understand who we're dealing with, and that Putin hopes to drag this war out even further. Denis S.H. Myhal, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Energy of Ukraine, in an interview with Politico.
In Russia, the Syzran oil refinery is on fire, as well as one of the warehouse complexes in the Leningrad region. These are the consequences of Ukrainian drone strikes, according to Robert Brovdy, commander of the Armed Forces of Ukraine's Drone Systems Forces. According to local residents, explosions were heard at night, after which thick smoke rose over the refinery's territory. The plant is part of the Rosneft company structure. Its capacity is nearly 9 million tons of raw materials per year. The facility produces gasoline, diesel fuel, aviation kerosene, and supplies fuel both to Russian regions and for the needs of the military.
Subscribe to UATV English and stay updated on the most important events, top news from Ukraine and all over the world, in-depth analysis, exclusive reports and interviews, all on hand in our channel. Join our community of viewers and stay tuned.